Amazon Alexa. Plus, tune in for a Best of Clinton Sports broadcast every Saturday morning at 10. All brought to you by our exclusive sponsor for our Player of the Game, Servpro of Piatt, DeWitt counties. They can make your emergency or disaster like it never even happened.
It is your easy choice, 95.9 FM, WEZC. Streaming live online at DeWittDailyNews.com tonight. It's 92.3 FM, WHOW in DeWitt County, 106.5 FM, WHOW in McLean County. As we continue on the final leg of our high school playoff show tonight, we're joined in this segment by Monticello football coach, Cully Welter. Coach, what you doing tonight? What do you got going on with your team?
Team's watching the pairings at Jack Widener's house, and the coaches are over at Coach Allen's house watching it right now.
Very good. Well, what do you think going to DeCoin? I know after the game last night, it was kind of there or sounded like there or Greenville. What do you think of going to DeCoin once again? I know we were down there not that long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we've been going south there the last few years, and we were there in 2019, so we're familiar with the facilities if nothing else, and so we're happy to be in the playoffs, and we're going to give it our best shot.
Tell me about your 5-4 Sages, Coach. What do you do well?
We try to mix it up as much as possible on offense, and then defensively, we've got a lot better as the years progressed. We're young. We start 8 juniors on the defensive side, but we feel like we've improved a lot as the years gone on, and hope we're ready to go on Saturday.
Yeah, I talked with Coach Broad up at BCC earlier, and one thing he talked about is, if you're running the table or you're making the postseason out of the Illini Prairie Conference, you're doing something pretty well, because it is an onslaught of good teams week after week. Talk about the conference this year.
Yeah, I think we're very proud of our conference, and it's very tough. And as you said, you don't really have room for a slip up when there's that many teams that are capable of qualifying. And we had 6 again this year, 6 last year, and we feel like we're battle tested. We'll see how that plays out next week.
Sure. Coming into the year, Coach, for I think a third time in 3 years, you've got a new quarterback, or not new, but you've got a third different quarterback in 3 years with your system. Just talk a little bit about how much your system relies on the quarterback and his ability to make plays, make throws. How about that?
Yeah, obviously, on a team where we've had to rely on the passing game quite a bit and quite some time. We got to have a guy that can wing it, and we've been fortunate to been blessed to have those guys. But we also ask our quarterback to run quite a bit, and of course he's always going to be the leader of the team and has to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. So he has to be smart as well, and we feel like we've been blessed even with one-year quarterbacks, how well they've picked things up and taken charge of the team.
Sure. Your team notoriously works very hard in the offseason. Talk a little bit about what you saw from your team in the summer months. And, did you see improvement with this team from week to week? And, week 1 to 9, have you seen marked improvement from the kids?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I've told you multiple times, it's been a very enjoyable group to coach, from the freshman to the senior, just a lot of good kids. Regardless of what type of season you have, that makes it a lot better experience. And so we've really enjoyed these kids. But yeah, they've definitely done everything we've asked them to do. We feel like we've made progress week to week in practice. We feel like we stubbed our toe against PBL. But other than that, we feel like we've been competitive in every game we played.
What do you like specifically about this team? You've mentioned that a lot with me. Tell our listeners, what do you like about this group?
They're very coachable. They're just very good kids. We don't have a lot of drama with them. They don't get in a lot of trouble. They're respectful. Like you said, early in the season, we thought our practice habits were a little questionable, but since we addressed that, we feel like the kids have really tried to do their best to get better every week. So that's all you can ask for as a coach. Sure.
Well, Coach, I'm going to let you go a little early tonight so I can get to the rest of these pairings. But if the Sages are going to make a run, I like this group a lot. I like them as well. What do we have to do well to make a run this year?
No, we know DuQuoin's going to be good. They're 9-0. They just beat a team that was 8-0, 38-0 or something like that. So we know we're going to have our hands full. But if we tackle well on defense and we can execute on offense, that gives us a chance.
Well, Coach, again, always good to talk with you. We'll talk later this week, and we'll see you down in DuQuoin.
I appreciate it, Seth. Thanks.
Coach, appreciate you making time for us as always. Monticello football coach Cully Welter joins us here on our playoff preview show here on this Saturday night. Let's wrap things up, running down through the rest of the playoff brackets. We start in 3A. Again, Clinton is going to travel to Sullivan, Okaw Valley in round 1 of the playoffs. That the Maroons are a 12 seed, Sullivan a 5 seed. Top seed in the South bracket is DeCoin, and they play host to Monticello on likely on Saturday. Williamsville will host Tolono Unity in round 1. Deep South, Mount Carmel plays host to Benton. Greenville plays host to Fairfield. Olympia will play host to Litchfield in round 1. Paris travels to Roxana, and St. Joe Ogden will play host to Carlinville. Those are the local teams in Class 3A. Let's take a gander at 4A. And trying to find the local teams. Rochester, the top seed. We talked with Lincoln coach Silkowski earlier, and he indicated his team would likely travel to Rochester. That is the case. Lincoln will travel to Rochester in round 1. Normal U-High travels to Coal City in round 1 of the postseason. Mount Zion will play host to Effingham. Taylorville travels to Murfreesboro in round 1. Peoria Notre Dame will travel to Kewanee in the first round. That is the 4A bracket. Excuse me. Taking a look at 5A here this evening. Let's see. Rolling through 5A. I'm sorry, 6A. Let's go to 6A this evening. 6A. Let's see. Normal West will host Chicago Simeon in round 1. We mentioned Washington. They'll play host to Danville in round 1. That'll set up a potential matchup with Crete Moni or Champaign Centennial in the second round for the Panthers. Chatham Glenwood will play Bloomington in round 1 of the 6A postseason. Let's see. Elsewhere in these playoffs, let's see. Mahomet Seymour in 5A. They'll host Troy Triad. Peoria High will host Joliet Catholic. Let's see elsewhere. Metamora, they'll play host to Decatur MacArthur in the first round of the 5A playoffs. Let's see if we can't get 7A pulled up. We talked with Normal community coach Jason Drangwitz earlier. His team in 7A will host Summit Argo. That sets up a potential matchup with Bradley Bourbonnais or St. Charles in round 2 of the 7A postseason. Quincy will host West Chicago in the first round. That is about the extent of the local teams in 7A. Well, we appreciate all you folks tuning in with us here on this Saturday night for this high school playoff preview show. It's been a joy to talk with all the coaches from across the area. Many thanks to them for taking time out of their evenings to chat with us. Many thanks to those of you that tuned in, whether on the radio dial or the World Wide Web. It was good to have you.